am Stacy Iwanicki. I'm originally from Trenton, Michigan, south of Detroit. Moved to Illinois in 1986. A year out of college, I started working here in 1987 here at Volo Bog State Natural Area. And I have been here ever since. I'm one of those rare people who I like to just say I got bogged down in Volo. And then in like 2005, we got, our site was merged with Moraine Hill State Park and McHenry Dam. So I had to fall in love with two more state parks, and it's just been a joy working for the Illinois Department of Natural Resources for almost 39 years now. When I started in '87, I inherited some really great stuff. There were already guided bog tours that were happening. They were being led by volunteers, as well as prior to me, there was like a year gap. But my predecessor had started all of this, and they were doing guided bog tours. But there were also a few other programs that I had learned when I was interning that I brought with me. And when we do school field trips, which we do on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then on weekends and also during the week, there's public programs. Just your standard nature hike. Let's go see what we can find on any given day. Maybe there's a theme that we're aiming for, but maybe it's just kind of impromptu, and we'll see what we can find. And those are led by some really awesome volunteers. Winterfest in January. We have celebrated for a couple decades maybe, International Migratory Bird Day. And then June, we go over to McHenry Dam, and we do Love Our River Day, and we have different organizations that come and share different stuff about river ecology and a lot of hands-on activities. So we celebrate International Bog Day on the fourth Sunday of July, the event was founded in Scotland in 1992. And to the best of my knowledge, Volo Bog State Natural Area was the first one to celebrate it in the United States. Then September, the Friends of Moraine Hill State Park host their big fundraising event for the year. It's Run for the Hills. Started off as a 10K and half marathon, but then we added a 5K to it. And so the volunteers and the friends pretty much run it with a little bit of support from the staff, and it's a really fun event. So October is when we do ghost stories, and Friends of Volo Bog contract a live storyteller, better than a dead storyteller, an in-person storyteller. We transform the picnic shelter into the stage, and this is in the middle of October, so it's most likely going to be cold. So people bring lawn chairs or blankets to sit on and sleeping bags to snuggle up in and listen to live storytelling for like 2 hours in the middle of October, at night, in the dark. Sometimes you have adults come in and they're bringing their grandchildren, and they're like, I was here 30 years ago with my kids, or I was here 30 years ago as a child. I'm like, they're now 40 and they have a small grandchild. It's like, where did the time go? But generations have kind of adopted Volo Bog, and they come generation after generation. Yet there are people from around the world who come here. Over the last 20 or so years, we have incorporated art shows, regular art shows in conjunction with Friends of Volo Bog. They're kind of a combination of an educational art show and a fundraiser. And our Friends of Volo Bog do a phenomenal job to help support the programs and the projects that we do here. I wanted to give them all the tools that they needed to continue on without me. Anybody can, they can all organize each other. And when my successor is hired, which hopefully doesn't take too awfully long, but it's the state of Illinois, so that's how it goes, they've got strict instructions to embrace the new person, embrace new ideas. The only thing that they must do, thou shalt continue bog tours. And school field trips. It's like the next generation, it's so important to give them the opportunity to be in nature. Providing opportunities for children to be in nature. We can really, screen time, we complain about screen time. The screens aren't the enemy. The screens are portals into seeing a world that you'll never see any other way, potentially. But they don't take the place of being in nature, smelling it and touching it. So far, AI has not been able to bring us the smell of tamarack needles rubbed between our palms. It hasn't been able to provide the feel of the moist moss. Kids will want to touch the moss with their toe, and I'm like, nope, you can't feel through your shoe. Feel it with your fingers. Touch it gently with your fingertips. The screen can't do that. So, thinking about the message to future generations, it's not future generations, it's us now. Get out there, touch it, smell it, listen to it, and use those screens to help you learn about it, but use each other as well. I've always believed that we are all teachers as well as all learners. We're all students, but we're also all teachers. So learn from each other, learn from the children in your lives, learn from the non-human animals that are out there, learn to listen, learn to observe, and just be out there. I don't know if it's a legacy, but it's important to me, and I drum it into them all the time, into the volunteers, is just make sure everybody who walks in that door feels like you're glad they're here. Don't wait for them to interrupt you. Just say, hey, hi, thanks for coming. And going out into the bog, make sure people understand that it's a super unique ecosystem. It's pretty. A lot of places are pretty, but this one's special. This one's extra unique. Nature brings people together, and nature brings out the best in everybody, And so it's just, people become their best selves when they're in nature. And Volo Bog is just so cool and unique. It brings out the best.